So what happens when you donate $25,000 to a live streamer? Now, this isn't a new phenomenon. I'm sure there's multiple instances of e-girls getting ridiculous amounts of money from sad, desperate, lonely guys with either really high-paying jobs or maybe they come from a wealthy family. And just for a quick example, let's take a look at a short clip from It's a Gundam's channel.
Anyway, he donated $120,000 to my house and gave me confidence that my dream could become a reality. This act was very shocking to me, and I am immensely grateful to him for such support.
Now, that video is a classic of his, and if you've never seen it, I'll have it linked down in the description. But essentially, some Russian female was dancing on stream, and that's literally all she was doing. She was dancing to the video game Dance Dance Revolution, and some guy gave her $120,000. There's also the case of Grant Amato, and I'm sure many of you have heard this story, but if you haven't, please go watch Jim Can't Swim's video on him. And if Jim Can't Swim isn't your thing, there's other people that have made videos about that guy. So again, this isn't something that's unheard of. It just usually happens with females more often. I'm sure I could provide other cases, but let's stick to the topic at hand. Now, the person we're discussing here goes by the name Only Iced Coffee. And if you're interested in the earlier days, the first 3 or 4 videos I ever made have breakdowns on him. But just to sum him up, he showed up to Darksydephil's Twitch channel in 2020, and he began to drop sub bombs, cheer, and tip in ridiculous amounts pretty much every day for a few months. He even claimed he watched DSP religiously. He then says that he's going to move on and he wishes everyone well. But a week or two later, someone by the name of Dr. Tony Huge comes along and starts doing the exact same thing. Now, the fucked up part about that situation is Dr. Tony Huge pretends he's a completely different person. Darksydephil pretends he's a completely different person. But on Twitch, when you've gifted a sub to someone and you change your name, it still shows that you've been gifted by the original person. Then he gets hit with that information and it becomes blatantly clear he's the same person. There's even a clip which I have up on one of my videos. I believe it's To Catch a Pig Part 8, where Phil comes out and says, "Oh, well, we all knew it was Only Iced Coffee the whole time." So then Dr. Tony Huge disappears, and then another person comes along by the name of Hallelujah He Reigns. And again, starts doing the same thing, sub bombs, cheering, tipping, and they both pretend it's a completely different person. So there's a track record, a pattern, a MO of him doing the same thing over and over and over. Now, how do I know it's been him the last year or so, despite all these fake names that randomly tip for a few days and then disappear, never to be seen again? Well, aside from him giving himself away in previous private conversations that he never thought would leak, like this one here, where he admits to having 50 names lined up for his next tips, literally. I know this because I'm what you would call a pay pig whisperer. Now, it's not something that I'm proud of. I just have an uncanny ability to decipher stupid drivel messages from dumb people. Take Timbo Slice, Lysa for Soul, and Hank Duma for instance. Timbo Slice originally said he was going to leave the DSP community because DSP was becoming shady and toxic and just doing a lot of sorry things. He posts some long message on Kiwi Farms and essentially disappears. Now, some months go by and I hear somebody by the name of Chicken Man say something that I've heard Timbo Slice say before. So I go back and start looking into it, and I end up revealing that Chicken Man and Timbo Slice are the same person. And then a few months after that, I end up finding out that Phil Smokes Crack and Timbo Slice are also the same person. I pretty much did the same thing with Lysa for Soul when I found he was Grande Culasso Amore, Verga Toto Toto, and Detractor Arthur. And then how about Hank Duma? And just for fun, I'm going to reveal something I picked up on probably about a year ago. I just never talked about it publicly. Now, on Christmas Day 2017, Santa Claus came through and tipped $1,000 to DSP. And as far as I know, there's only 4 people that have tipped DSP that amount. Jax Raxor, Planet Jeff, some person who did it overnight and Tevin caught it and made a video about it, but I'm not sure that person ever got revealed. And then Santa Claus. Now, if you search 4 days before Christmas 2017 on PigPigGo, you'll find Hank Duma leaving a $25 tip that says, "Hey DSP, maybe Santa Claus will leave you a big tip on Monday to help you with your tax predicament. All the best to you and yours." So then we skip ahead 4 days later to Christmas 2017, which happened to fall on a Monday, coincidentally. And Santa Claus tips $1,000 and says, "Hey Phil, this is to help you with your tax troubles, and then all the best to you and yours." Again, I'm not going to break the whole thing down here, but Once I heard that, I started looking into more Hank Duma messages, and he always had the tagline of all the best to you and yours, and some form of this is to help you with your tax problem / predicament / trouble. So if you want to look into this further, feel free. It's not hard to find. And by the way, this doesn't even include Planet Jeff, the Patriarchy, and Bent Boxer, who all do this same thing. But this guy's a little trickier because he'll take pay pigs that people know from the past, and he'll disguise himself as these people, and he'll super chat and drop sub bombs in ridiculous amounts. Now, if you're new to DSP and this whole topic, you would be completely justified in thinking this isn't true or we're looking into this a little too much. But for those of you who have been around for years, you know this is pretty much the norm when it comes to DSP and his quote-unquote fans. And this is how insane this whole thing really is. Whether you're a fan of DSP's, a so-called detractor of his, or you just stumbled onto this video because of the algorithm, we're all here because of DSP. And I've talked about him probably 20 to 30 seconds so far in this entire video. Now, the $25,000 number from the title comes from an estimated tally in my head. I had to do a lot of research when I first started making these videos, so I would keep mental notes and round up to 5, then 10, 15, 20, etc. So if you'd like to waste the time and search for it and come back and correct me, please feel free. But I would say it's a fairly good estimate based on what I've seen. And here's another crazy aspect. I actually had a 2-hour Discord voice call with this guy a while back. And when I brought up the 15K number multiple times, he didn't dispute it at all. So let's go back to the title of the video. What actually happens when you donate $25,000 to a live streamer? You would think that maybe this guy is a casual friend of yours now. You've maybe done something special for that person either on camera or, quote, behind the scenes. Or at the very least, they're a moderator on your shitty, dying YouTube channel. And what does this guy get for it? None of the above. In fact, DSP threw him under the bus when he found out that this guy talked to me and other detractors publicly. This guy tried to set up a private meeting in person with DSP to give him a brand new laptop, and DSP didn't want anything to do with it. Now, to be fair, he used to be a moderator on DSP's channel, but he had to remove himself to save face because he knew he was about to be kicked out anyways. And this is where it leaves you. He's so in love with Darkside Phil. He's sunk so much money into him, and DSP is such a part of this guy's life that he can't back out now, even if he wanted to. And part of the reason why I even make these videos is to try and show these people what is eventually going to happen to them. DSP doesn't give two shits about you and wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire in front of him and he needed to take a leak. And yeah, he's still going to make a lot of money from the same 8 or 9 people that essentially fund his entire life. But if I can wake up even one of these people and show them what's really happening, then it's a win at the end of the day. And that right there is why DSP falsely copyright strikes people like myself and tries to get these videos taken down. Because eventually, one of these people is going to wake up, and you better hope that they've moved on to some e-whore by then. Because I'd hate to be in your shoes when even one of these people realize what you've been doing to them this entire time. And as the meme goes, Phil, you can bet your sweet ass that I'm doing my part. And before I sign off here, I almost forgot some good news I wanted to share with you, DSP. YouTube somehow just accepted me back into the partner program. Now, I know what you did in January of 2022. And last year when one of your mods came to me and leaked some of your Discord server, they also told me that they were positive that you complained to YouTube about me as well, which is what led to me being removed in the first place. Now, I could just let bygones be bygones and say, no harm, no foul, but I can be a petty little motherfucker sometimes. And so I wrote YouTube an email about you last night, and how I didn't think it was right that someone in the YouTube partner program should be able to abuse the copyright system, just because they don't like a video that person made about them. And then to top it off, they go back and remove the strike after I've been kicked from the partner program, and you felt that I, quote, learned my lesson. And with your luck, Phil, maybe nothing will come of this, but you better hope that's the case. Because as I had to learn, when YouTube kicks you from the program, they don't pay you that final check. And I'd love to see you have to do another emergency marathon to pay your daily bills. Or as the rest of us call it, WWE champions.